Viewers, welcome back to the fourth episode of this month of positive news and positivity this channel always gives with respect to India. We are continuing from where we left last time. We were talking about things that are happening on public sector undertakings. We were specifically covering railways as we finished the previous episode. Continuing from where we left, once again a major innovation or change that has been brought up in railways is railways has indigenously developed a cost-effective technology for train collision avoidance system. It's called as TCAS. It's a very simple technology. We have seen a lot of accidents because two trains are found facing each other or traveling in opposite directions in the same track, and therefore there have been a history of a lot of accidents because either due to error by the rail traffic controller or a signaling failure, whatever it is, or someone forgot to change the interlocks. Now the TCAS has been approved for nearly 37,300 kilometers covering important routes in the first phase, and this will also help you to pack more trains in the same track and thereby reduce the traveling time. And this modernization of signaling and telecommunication is expected to basically cost around 55,000 crores for railways. So you can see there's been a lot of focus on developing the rail network, modernizing it, using the telecom, using the technology, so that there can be more trains that travel longer trains, heavier trains, and dedicated freights that are going to cross. The objective somehow seems to be to increase the efficiency of every transport element available in the country. And fortunately, Railways is doing a lot of right things, and we as citizens need to be very proud of the changes that's happening. The next segment we are going to talk about is alternate energy, because there seems to be a lot of traction, focus, and policy towards alternate energy. Even in this series, in a couple of episodes before, we talked about how government had come up with a increased subsidy for two-wheeler electric vehicles. Now, recently, the Tata Motors Pune plant actually came up with the largest carport. Now, what is a carport? It is basically a covered car parking, and on top of the covered car parking you have the solar panels. So Tata Motors factory, in collaboration with Tata Power, created this 6.2 megawatt solar carport, which will generate close to 86.4 lakh kilowatts of electricity per year. It's expected to reduce nearly 7,000 tons of carbon emission and nearly 1.6 lakh tons of carbon emission over its life cycle. So this is spanning over 30,000 square meters in Tata Motors power plant. So apart from generating electricity, this will also provide a shaded car park. And see, this is what is innovation at its best. So you have land, you have infrastructure, but if you can actually leverage the blessing that India has of having continuous sunshine, we can reduce the cost of our electricity generation and also make it available substantially during the day, because our air conditioning costs have increased because of our standard of living. The second major development in alternate energy is Ashok Leyland makes Switch Mobility its subsidiary. So Ashok Leyland had already taken a stake in Switch Mobility, and now they have made it as a subsidiary, because Switch Mobility has already been supplying electric buses to the London transport system, and it's been well received. And they are also a good and successful manufacturer of e-buses. And now we can see that slowly the many state governments and the metros are beginning to release tender for e-buses, and therefore making Switch Mobility a subsidiary of Ashok Leyland will make it immediately eligible for most of the tenders, because Ashok Leyland is already empaneled and a preferred vendor for almost all the state corporations. And therefore making it a subsidiary will not require Ashok Leyland to take a fresh set of empanelment with all these things. And therefore we are going to see for sure that the public transport, apart from metros using clean energy, even the buses will start using clean energy, and the depots will slowly give way to becoming good charging stations, and the mechanical maintenance of these buses will considerably come down. And we're going to see a lot of interesting times, and I'm sure there are far more bigger vendors who are going to make a big play. The third important news in alternate energy is maybe we have actually crossed the last frontier of using batteries to transport. So a company called Pipistrel Velis Electro, which is basically a company that is based out of a European country, Slovenia for that matter, has come out with this aircraft, which is a single engine in two-seater aircraft, and the primary use of this aircraft seems to be for training use. But the good news is that the European Union's safety agency, Aviation Safety Agency, EASA, European Union's Aviation Safety Agency, has approved this aircraft for flight, which means we have broken the final frontier of battery use. We earlier used it for two-wheelers, then three-wheelers, cars, now buses. We have even used it for steam, water transport, and finally now we are going to move to the air. So this is a precursor for a whole lot of development that will happen, where the aircrafts will start using the batteries as a fuel instead of the fossil fuels. And we are also seeing a domestic public sector undertaking, Gas Authority of India Limited, pumping close to 5,000 crores in new energy business. Now, all the oil manufacturing companies, all the oil marketing companies, all the refineries, gas companies that have been part of the energy ecosystem, predominantly public sector undertakings, are all waking up to the new reality that things are changing. So we are seeing IOC, NTPC, NHPC, SJVN, a whole lot of these public sector enterprises which were predominantly in the energy space, all moving towards the alternate energy space. So now GAIL is going to pump in 5,000 crores for producing ethanol and compressed biogas from municipal waste. It is also intending to participate in all solar power project tenders that will be released by SECI, which is the Solar Energy Corporation of India. So this is going to be a huge change, because a lot of money is going to come in, and then there are serious players with large project implementation capability. So we are here for some exciting times of both clean energy and lower cost. The next thing we are going to cover is about innovation. In innovation, there are two specific things that we want to share it with you. The first is roads that honk. So Hindustan Petroleum Corporation Limited has come up with this beautiful initiative where they have used this technology in Ladakh area, because Ladakh is an area full of mountains and treacherous roads, and there are a lot of hairpin bends, and because that is an area where there is a very thin air, drivers over a period of time get zombied, and then they forget to honk in the hairpin bends, and therefore there are a lot of accidents that happen. And HPCL came up with this very innovative idea where they used electronics to detect a vehicle, approaching vehicle, and if there were two vehicles approaching the hairpin bend simultaneously, they used a system where the roads will honk even if the drivers forget to honk, and thereby it becomes an alert to the other driver coming from the other side. So it is basically an anti-collision vehicle management system, and this pilot initiative was in National Highway 1 in the Jammu-Srinagar highway, and I'm sure progressively we are going to see almost all hill conditions adopt this beautiful innovative technologies, thereby reducing human loss and national loss. The next innovation which actually caught the fancy of me was a company called Chavella Farms has actually come with instant mix tender coconut water. So they have actually used a flash dry technology, and therefore the tender coconut water, which is a very something that most people look forward to. So the tender coconut water is flash dried and made into a powder form, and given to you in sachets. So you tear the sachet, pour that and add water, and then you have tender coconut. So this is innovation. So this is something very, very interesting, which means a lot of the fruit juice that we use today can also be used for this flash dry and may be available to you all through the years. Now, apart from innovation, what it can do to the farmers is basically increase their income. Now today, the farmer produces the goods, maximum amount of money between the amount he gets and the amount paid by the consumer is either lost to transportation or paid to middlemen. Now when you use this flash dry technology, you will be able to put up plants in the areas of production, flash dry it, and what would take nearly maybe 400-500 lorries to transport the tender coconut, maybe just one lorry will be able to transport it as sachet. So the difference in price can actually benefit the farmer. So this is what technology is about. When you use technology, you are able to ensure efficiency of purpose and also increase in income for the farmer and reduce in cost for the consumer. So this is another very interesting innovation. I think a lot of people who are in food industry can actually think about using this kind of an innovation. The next we are going to talk about trends. One of the very impressive trends that we are seeing after a very long time is there are resolutions happening just after NCLT started, and because of an ecosystem of people wanting to resolve things either through legislation or through pure common sense or just from an opportunity perspective. So we are seeing that PMC Bank, so Bharat Pay and Centrum jointly have bid for the PMC Bank, which was a cooperative bank which collapsed a year and a half back. Similarly, we are seeing Videocon being bid by a family of Bharti Infratel chairman Akhil Gupta, a couple of PE funds like New Vernon Ventures, Kotak Private Equity, and a couple of distressed investment funds like 8 Capital, and even a manufacturing company like Dixon Technology, who are all bidders for the Videocon brand and their factory. Similarly, we are seeing Punjab National Housing Bank, PNB Housing Bank, being bid by Godrej, Bandhan Bank, and even a consortium led by GIC, which is basically an extended investment of Government of Singapore, and Blackstone. And then we are also seeing DHFL being bid by Piramal, Oaktree, and Adani's. We are also seeing Jet Airways actually concluding its transfer. Now it's going to be once again run by Kyle Rock Capital. So we are seeing a lot of failed ventures being getting resolved and new owners coming on board and being able to make those assets and the companies productive. We are also seeing some positive things that after a slew of PE investments that happened over a few years, we are seeing the exits beginning to happen. Now we all know that the stock markets are buoyant, and therefore it has remained so for the last close to 1 year now, and then therefore a lot of these people are beginning to use a buoyant stock market to exit and come public. So we are seeing Paytm coming with a mega block offer. We are seeing Nazara Technology, which already came public and it was subscribed successfully. We are seeing Zomato come up with a it's going to come up with a big offering for sale. So we are seeing the ecosystem of PE, resolution professionals, and positive outcomes that are going to come up in the industry using technologies are all working wonderfully to create an ecosystem of startups taking risk and creating wealth. So this is something that's very positive. The next very positive thing, some of the news that has come out, is India's export of electronic goods has touched an all-time high of 9,812 crores as on March. Of these, mobile phones remain the top contributor with around 35% of the total corpus, which is around 3,421 crores. So we are seeing that slowly India is beginning to become the mobile phone manufacturing hub. Still not the leader, China remains the leader, but we are becoming a serious contender. So Apple has shifted the plant, a whole lot of people are beginning to shift their plants there, and it's not very far that India will be the major manufacturer of smartphone, because we are also one of the largest consumers of mobile phones. Sugar production in India went up by 13% to 305.68 lakh tons during the period October 20 into May 21, because sugar season is basically based on the crushing season. And similarly, Coal India Limited's offtake has jumped 35% to 55 million tons in May, which means there is a very clear indication that the power generation is picking up, number one. It could also be because a lot of these thermal power stations are stocking up coal, because from June 1st the monsoons come, and during the monsoons the production of coal comes down, and more importantly the transportation of coal suffers. So the May offtake could also be because of increased power consumption, and it could also be because of storing. And very interesting information is, today nearly 620 million smartphones are available in India which are subscribing to various services, and similarly 654 million wireless broadband subscriptions are there as of January 2020. So we are seeing that a lot of the emerging companies like your Netflix or OTT platform are all growing on the backbone of broadband, either through wireless communication or through in-house wired communication, and a whole lot more education, even legal, consumers or the citizens getting their services delivered at home is all going to be using the broadband platform. That's one very significant trend that we can see. And a couple of information that could be of interest to you is India has exported the first fiber rich dragon fruit. Now dragon fruit was definitely not part of the Indian subcontinent, so countries like Malaysia, Thailand, Philippines, US and Vietnam were the major producers of that dragon fruit. It's a fruit that contains a lot of fiber, vitamins, minerals and antioxidants, and it has the capability to reduce inflammation and repair your cell. So India has for the first time exported this fruit after consuming it internally. So we have a couple of states which are in the forefront of producing dragon fruit. They are Karnataka, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra, Gujarat, West Bengal, Andhra Pradesh and even Andaman and Nicobar Island. So if you see that, if you have an ability to think lateral, if you have an ability to be innovative, if you have an ability to try new things, the opportunities unfold for you unlimited. And then a very interesting piece of information is about the Gir bull. So one of the prides of India has been the Gir bull. It was used as a symbol in the Indus Valley civilization. So this Indian Gir bull, the home to it is Gujarat. And recently government of India is importing this bull from Brazil. Now what had happened many decades back, Brazil came to India wanting to import this Gir bull because the climatic condition in Brazil and India were very similar, and they thought that importing this bull for insemination of its cows will create a robust breed. They took it to Brazil, and over a period of time they perfected the art and made such a powerful Indian Gir bull that it was able, that when it inseminates the cows, they were able to produce a lot of milk. And today India, which was actually the home to the Gir bull, was not able to do that successfully. So we have gone back to Brazil. We are importing this Gir bull so that it can be used for inseminating the cows, because so far we have been using Jersey cows. So Jersey cows, while they give high amount of milk, Jersey by nature is a European breed which doesn't have the adaptability or acclimatization skills, and therefore the breeds that evolve, the interbreeding that happens, has not resulted in the increased life of these cows. Now bringing back our native bull is a very beautiful or a very bold step, and more importantly accepting the fact that we couldn't do something and there is a country which did it and therefore they want to use it. This will definitely lead to the original breed coming back, and the cows that get produced from this are going to have a lot more resistance to disease and adaptability to our climatic condition, and therefore increase availability of milk for us. Viewers, thank you so much for staying tuned. That's our quota of all the positive news for this month. Do stay tuned. Even we'll come very soon with the next list of positives that are happening in India. And the lasting message that we want to leave is so many good things are happening in the countries. Just take your eye off all the negative news that gets bombarded in the newspaper. Develop a skill to look at all this positive news. Stay positive, stay happy, stay healthy, and thank you so much.